Greetings and welcome to SCAR Speaks, a weekly podcast series brought to you by George Mason University School for Conflict Analysis and Resolution, also known as SCAR. My name is de-Graft Johnson and I'm here with Bardia Mehrabian, who is here to talk about the Global Problematique Working Group. Welcome to the show, Bardia.
Thank you.
So what is this Global Problematique Working Group all about?
Well, it first emerged as a course out of one of the classes here at George Mason University, lectured by Dr. Sandoli, Dennis Sandoli. And it's basically a delving into problems that are very complex and required coordinated and comprehensive efforts to help resolve them. No one nation state can address these issues by themselves. No one sector can address these issues by themselves. It's basically a series of different problems interconnected that require efforts that cross-cut nation states, corporations, civil society, and a number of different countries across the board as well.
What sorts of programs or projects will this working group be focused on?
We will include a number of different workshops. We will also conduct a symposium as well. We may even apply for a few grants depending on the kind of ambitions the group has. It could be just a number of different programs that try to resolve the global problematique.
You spoke about a symposium. What is that about?
Symposium is going to be held on April 12th. It's basically an introduction of the global problematique to Washington, D.C. and the program here at SCAR, as well as George Mason University as well. We're basically inviting young professionals, students, others who have a vested interest in trying to figure out ways to solve these complex problems. And we have invited a few panelists, as well as Dr. Sandoli himself, to introduce the issue and discuss it, and possibly even have a roundtable at the end where discussions can be conducted in a very organic manner.
So if I should come for this symposium, who are some of the people I would hope to see on the panel?
The panelists will include Dr. Sandoli, who is the professor that we have already talked about. He's written 2 books and has conducted very many lectures and written many articles on the subject matter of the global problematique. You'll also look forward to seeing Mr. Luis Rose. He is a manager at the Inter-American Development Bank who has a focus on sustainable development and human development, has a focus on poverty reduction, has worked both in the United States and Brazil. Also, you will be seeing Amira Woods. She's actually a co-founder of Foreign Policy and Focus. She has done a lot of work in development, and in fact she's even been on an interview recently with PBS to discuss the issue with Coney and the fallout with that. And she has a lot of experience and knowledge on institutions. The institutions is one of those government institutions, civil society institutions, are things that are often overlooked in making sure that a government or a country, a sovereign nation, can function and achieve the needs of the people and the demands of its people. When those institutions fail due to the complex problems, whether it's a volatile economy or a volatile crop season, a volatile environment, the most fragile of our society gets affected the most, and worldwide or domestically. Also, there will be Donya Maria Twyman. She's a CEO of Virtual Office Associates. She's done a lot of community development, and she will be basically showing a focus on how local communities in a small number can make real-world, large-scale impacts. oftentimes people feel overwhelmed by these issues, especially when it comes to, say, global climate change or environmental degradation. These require nations to be involved, and when not everybody is part of certain conventions in greenhouse gas reductions, this makes ordinary people feel overwhelmed to try to resolve these issues. So Doña Maria Twyman has a very interesting expertise in showing that actually local people can really make a very large impact. And then in terms of actual knowledge in the environmental aspect, we've also invited Dr. Sekou Toure. He's a conflict resolution commissioner at the Global Environment Facility. It's a division of the World Bank, and he can definitely discuss the environmental problems and issues and its impact on conflict. And this is often overlooked. People feel that it's just nature being degraded, or there will be no more trees or something like that, and maybe health problems. But really, this issues like environmental degradation or global climate change have real conflict impacts. It's so often overlooked that if there is not a good crop season for certain countries that solely base their economy on that one crop, if a rainfall doesn't happen or certain environmental conditions don't come together, that's millions of dollars lost in revenue, and that's millions of people out of work, and then that's millions of people being potentially angry at their governments and at each other. So he can definitely speak upon that, and that's what attendees will be looking forward to.
So you seem to have covered the basis, but who will be your target audience? Because if the policy people who are in charge of making policy don't attend this, then it's just going to be what usually happens in panel discussions, just a discussion. But from what you are saying, you would like to see something done about it. That's
correct. Students are a major target at the various universities in the Washington metropolitan area, and in various programs. We're not just focusing on the conflict resolution program here. We're also inviting folks from public policy, the law school, and various other programs, whether they're here at the George Mason University or elsewhere. We're also inviting young professionals who are actually in the field practicing, and established professionals who have a knowledge on global environment. But the target audience is really to try to get these diverse people to come together to learn from each other, and not only learn from each other, but the last hour and a half is going to be a working together. We will have the first hour and a half of the symposium will be a panel discussion, but the last hour and a half will have round tables where people will get to sit around the table. It's actually a catered event as well, so people will be able to eat and discuss these issues and come up with unique and interesting solutions, and as well as possible next steps that for things that could get done and students can get involved with. This can not only be a series of next steps for the working group, but it may spark interest or cultivate initiatives in other programs elsewhere. So the idea is to establish a discussion, establish cooperation and collaboration, because really, in the end, those who are in their various sectors need to be talking to each other, whether it's at the local level that we're establishing here at the symposium or within their respective professions. This will give them an opportunity to say, hey, I'm also interested in global problems, and I have a background in healthcare, and you seem to have a background in the environment. Let's talk more and carry this conversation away from the symposium and perhaps have a lasting partnership.
Well, Bardia, I would like to thank you for coming on to the show, and What was the date for the symposium and where will it be held again?
The date is on April 12th. It's a Thursday. It's from 6 to 9 p.m. It will be held in Founders Hall in room 125 here at George Mason University in the Arlington campus.
Okay. Well, Bardia, thank you again, and we'll hope to have you again here and you could tell us how the symposium went.
Thank you very much.